Well, welcome to learning how to play the mandolin. I was sitting there thinking someone had reached out about it was their very first time playing mandolin, and I sat and thought, what would I, if I could go back to the beginning, what's one of the first things that I would have done differently? And I think, there's plenty of videos out there that you can go and see and learn the parts of the mandolin, and you can learn how to tune up your mandolin. And I would recommend that you go do that. But we got this thing to play it, so we're all rip roaring to go and to play it. And so what I would do is look at. I do have two videos on my Patreon, one about left hand placement and one about right hand and how to sort of hold your pick. There's lots of videos out there on those as well, and I would recommend listening to a bunch because you never know who's going to really resonate with you or say something that just sort of clicks. There's lots of ways to explain similar things. But in terms of playing, once you're in tune and you've got your instrument, I will say one caveat when you watch this video. I do these over-the-shoulder videos, which you'll find on my Patreon and on my YouTube page. Don't necessarily try to emulate how I'm holding the pick or moving my hand in these videos because I'm leaning backwards and it puts me in an awkward position for how I actually play. What I'm just trying to show is demonstrate where to put your fingers and sort of upstrokes and downstrokes and sort of leave it at that. Now, if it's your first time picking up the mandolin, again, get your pick, get your mandolin, and think of a tune that you want to play that is simple. And I think if you're here and you want to play bluegrass and folk music, a really, really great example is You Are My Sunshine. It's what a lot of people will call internal music. It's a tune that you already probably know. If it's not a tune that you know, I would recommend picking something that you do know. Maybe Happy Birthday, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Those are all great choices. I like You Are My Sunshine because you will hear that at bluegrass jams. So why not kick it off right from the get-go? Now, what I would try to do is, you can watch what I'm about to play, but what I would do is maybe just take your mandolin, turn up the volume and look in the other direction and try. The only thing I would say to look at is I'm going to start on the lowest string open with no fingers on it, right? So that's your G note when you're playing the mandolin. So what I would try to do is just try to pick out that melody. So don't look. If you need to sneak a peek, you can. But this is how I would start out playing that. And I would play all downstrokes with this right hand just to start. Something like this. If you want to pause the video and try to figure it out yourself, that would be super beneficial. And don't be worried if you end up playing it slightly different than how I do. Play the melody as you hear it. And if it's got slight variations to it, that's okay. You're shooting to be in time, right? And that could mean different things. Like you could still play in the beat, but phrase things slightly different, and that's okay. So after you've sat and worked on that, what I would do is move here. Look back at the video to your open D string, which is the next string. This is your G, the slow one. Your next string is the D string. And I would try to play that same melody, but try to play it on the D string. So look away, but listen to what I'm playing. And I'll start like this. Now pause the video and try to work that out. Now when you come back, look back at the screen here. We got the G string. And we will say, mandolin players often will say the G string. We mean both strings, right? This is a chorus of strings. They're tuned in unison, so we'll just call that the G string. And then the D string, and then up to the A string is our next one. And you guessed it, we're going to play You Are My Sunshine on the A string this time. So look away, but remember that the first note we're going to play is that open A. Here we go. Now, you'll hear me doing stuff like, and I'm trying not to do that. It's hard when you've played a long time to just, boil it down to that bass melody. But that goes back to like what I said. If you end up playing like, it's okay to embellish or play the melody slightly different than someone else. Don't think that it has to be perfect, because if you get caught up in that, it's often sort of more detrimental than it is helpful. Just try to think musically and make things that you believe sound good to you, and usually that'll get you on the right track. Now, one step further, what I will say in this video is go back to that G string, and we're going to start doing downstrokes and upstrokes. So one thing you want to get comfortable with mandolin in the beginning is playing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I might just practice that on the string alone, like, until I get nice clean tone, making sure I'm hitting both strings, and do that on all the strings. And so on. And once you feel comfortable just doing down, up like that, try to take a melody that you have been working on, like You Are My Sunshine, and apply it to that. So again, down on the G string, we played the first time all downstrokes. We played. Imagine our hand is just going down, up, down, up, down, up, but we're going to play that same phrase. So listen to how I phrase that. It'd be something like this. Now that was a little bit quick for when you first do it, but slow that down to the point where you can play it. I messed it up. The idea, though, is to get used to playing melodies where if I say something like, You are my sunshine, when I sing those longer notes, that I might play I hold that out by playing up, down, rather than playing. because the mandolin's so small, if a fiddle player played that, they'd have the bow, right? They'd be like playing a long, a long phrase on that to hold that note out. We don't have that. So again, get used to sort of playing melodies with a down up, down up, down up stroke. And when you're playing on a note that would be held out vocally, that you hear as a long note, strive to get that as a down up, down up, down up on your mandolin. It's a little bit hard to demonstrate it, perfectly. Again, if you hear the melody slightly different than me, you might play that slightly different. But again, the goal is to be very even, very slow, and as musical as you can be from the very first time you pick up your instrument. It's going to feel clunky. Your fingers are going to hurt. There's going to be only so much that you can do. But if you pick this little beast up, and play for 15, 20 minutes every single day for a month, you're really going to start to see improvement in your playing. And there's so many resources out there. I hope that I could be one to help. If you've got any questions, by all means, reach out. You can email me at MyBluegrassRomance@gmail.com. My name is Jake, and I'd love to help you. But again, I think the basis of this video is to think of simple melodies like You Are My Sunshine or Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and learn how to play those on each string, or like working between strings, sounding out, figuring it out as you play it, figuring out what those notes are without worrying about a tablature or standard notation in front of you. Those are both really great resources. But from the beginning, especially like on mandolin playing in the American folk bluegrass style, it's great to just do that, orally. One thing I would add to this is watch. I could play a melody like that, like this, with just one finger. You don't want to get into the habit of that, not with your first finger, your second, your third, or your fourth. What you want to get in the habit of is understanding on your mandolin, when you play up a string, like let's start on this G string, if you played each fret, when you get up to the 7th fret, pushing this fret down is the same note as the open string next to it. So this is a D, which is the same note as this string if your mandolin's in tune. So that's why when I play notes sort of on the first 2 frets, I want to use my first finger as a general rule. On the next 2 strings, I want to use my middle finger. The next 2, I want to use my ring finger. And then up on the 7th fret, I want to use my pinky. So if you were learning this by ear, you could fall into that trap of, just playing on a single string and working your way up and down the neck, as opposed to like going back and watch how I actually played it. I played and I switch up to this string, right? Open note. Whoops. When I could go, right? But that's very awkward. So don't do that. Work on, again, playing your first finger with notes here, your second finger here, your third finger here, and then we'll get into the pinky later on. You don't have to worry about that for the moment. But yeah, I hope you have fun. Pick some melodies that you already know inside your mind and inside your heart, melodies from when you were a kid or melodies that you listen to, and by all means, start listening to some fiddle tune music that's out there and some instrumental bluegrass. Sometimes instrumental bluegrass can be a little intimidating, but especially old-time fiddle music can get some melodies like Liberty, Red-Haired Boy, Whiskey Before Breakfast. If you listen to those enough, you'll be surprised that you're actually helping your mandolin playing by listening to music, because you're internalizing music that you'll later play, and you'll know notes are wrong because you'll have listened to that music a lot. I met someone one time, they said their mandolin was in the shop. What could they do? They only had one mandolin. They wanted to practice. And I said, well, listen to songs. Try to sing along or hum along with instrumental songs at slow speeds. YouTube always offers that function of slowing tunes down so you can learn those melodies so that you can later apply them to mandolin. I hope this is helpful, guys. Again, reach out if you got any questions.